suggested by the public via Google form that probably many of you received. Thank you for anyone who submitted it back. But it's also just talking to people at school pickup, on the street, anyone. You know, I got emails and text messages, phone calls, and just saying, here's 5 places that I love to go to with my friends on the weekend. And then, of course, as everything, Charlie's specific for the Building Tijuana Facebook group. Anyone who belongs to that, thank you so much. That was a really great treasure trove of places. So the book has really developed to be something that's not only for our region, but it's also by our region. And so, you know, and so we've also had the opportunity to work with 16 amazing photographers from both sides of the border who are helping put this together along with some people. So the book is divided into 6 sections, 5 sections, based on San Jack's area designation for those of you from San Diego. And it really is meant to represent a range of communities and places and things across all of these regions. Because for anyone who's been to La Jolla, San Diego, you could write a whole book about public spaces in La Jolla, but that's not the point of this book. So, as we put these together, there's about 140 places, and we've been listening to people's stories about the places in their neighborhood and community, and researching the history of these places and how they became, even came to be, and how they exist today. We started seeing some overlapping themes that started to emerge. So I'd like to talk a little bit about each theme that we're starting to dive into in more detail in the way that we present in the book. One of these themes is community cultural expression in the arts. And it's been interesting to see, you know, not only kind of the established institutions that people feel very strongly about, for example, anything in Balboa Park, I think very difficult to have determined what to do, but they also have places such as Pasar and the CRO studio, which is totally conceived, an incredibly beautifully designed community hub, and then of course Cuando Park, right, which is a national treasure and icon throughout the United States, not just for the San Diego region, and something that is truly community-led and organized, in particular the new Cuando Park Museum that just opened in the last year. Another theme that has been emerging is that good urbanism and architecture. I'm an architect by training. I'm very committed to making sure that the architecture that we do have in our city is of a certain quality and same with urbanism. So I've got 2 examples, of course, Casa de la Cultura and Colonia Altamira, a fantastic building, one of the oldest buildings here, you all know it. And then, of course, on the other side, you've got Courtyard in downtown San Diego, right, which started as a thesis project for architecture students at the New School of Architecture and Design, and then has moved several times as a way to use shipping containers to activate vacant blocks downtown. And today is a very vibrant event space and theater. Another thing that keeps coming up is that of our identity as a coastal community, right? So we've got that in several ways. You've got the surf and skate culture. So on the left, you've got the Parque La Bandera in Tijuana, one of the only kind of state-sanctioned skateboarding parks in Tijuana. And then on the right, you have the tide pools of La Jolla, for those of you who've been there during the winter. And so even though we have statistics about how many San Diegans who live in the eastern part of our county do not actually go to the beach, we have no access to the beach because of public transportation and various other social factors, there's still something about that coastal community, whether or not we're physically present there, that has infiltrated our culture and our identity, and whether through just our relationship to the environment or our skate or surf culture, or just the way that we talk. As being famous by Saturday Night. And the good thing is places for everyone. I think what Stacey's kind of commented on a little bit was how are we designing spaces that really are available and accessible to everyone, not just physically, but are comfortable and safe places. So the Parque de las Américas on the left, a dog park. You know, how do we design not only people, but also the pets that we love, how do our pets get out as well. And then to the right, of course, is my favorite public space, I think, of all of San Diego, which is Waterfront Park, which was an on-street parking lot at our county administration building right on the water in San Diego until 1998, when they transformed it into an incredible public park. I've never seen such a diverse community of people in one place in San Diego as I've seen in the families who play in the water fountains at Waterfront Park. Other things themes that have come up is that of community building, right? So it's not just how we use the space, but how is the community involved or not involved, in many cases in San Diego, in the design of these spaces. So to the left is the Pet East Plaza, many of you guys know the trolley and the McDonald's. This is a place, the photo we used is from a demonstration regarding the under-treatment of migrants along the border. Do we have spaces for demonstrations? Do we have spaces for gathering in the political sense of gathering? And in that, building community through that. To the right, of course, is Logan Avenue, Barry Logan, during the Walk the Block event that happens every year. Infrastructure is critically important. In San Diego right now, we're going through a massive capital project infrastructure overhaul in terms of how we finance and fund and design things. So connected and accessible infrastructure is a theme that keeps cropping up. Because it does have to do with the critical quality of life issues that we have that I identified at the beginning, but also how we're going to respond to the climate crisis. In San Diego, at least, the greenhouse gas emissions from cars is one of the biggest issues that we're facing. So the connected, accessible infrastructure is incredibly important. To the left, we have the Solana Beach Transit Center, my favorite Rob Quigley building for those architects in the room. I think the best example of postmodernism in San Diego. We can debate it later. To the right is, of course, the closing of the Avenue Gas Center District, which had been closed for things like Comic-Con, but as of, I think, a month ago, is now closed long-term to pedestrianize that section of downtown. And finally, preserving and conserving our natural resources. In the history of San Diego in particular, we've had an incredible amount of people and movements about preserving what we have. So we do not build on canyons. We have not built on coastlines and some parts of the roads. And for example, in 1998, when we passed the multi-species conservation plan, which was a huge, bipartisan effort from multiple institutions and organizations within San Diego. That was not only a landmark event planned within our region, but it was actually nationally and has set a national standard. So on the left, you've got Sunset Cliffs, which was after the MSCP was passed in 1988. That led to a rewilding of the southern part of Sunset Cliffs in Oklahoma that brought back the brown elephant from extinction. And then to the right, you have the Anza Desert, which makes up a fifth of our county, and it is the largest state park in all of California. And so those ecosystems define not only how we use space, but also how we imagine space and why our climate and environment is the way that it is. So besides the fact that this has been a really fun project, I really enjoyed the whole experience, what are the other issues about making this book? Why are we making this book? For one, nothing like this currently exists. I see a real opportunity there for us to imagine our region as a whole and to visualize it. But I think also secondary is that it's an opportunity to advocate even more for the better financing, designing, and development of more public spaces for everyone in all of our communities throughout the region. We know that walkable places are not equally distributed, and that we're at the stage of city development in San Diego at least where we can no longer grow out. We have to densify from within. And the conversation around that has been very much about numbers, quantities, units of housing, for example. How many units of housing do you get on a piece of land? And not so much about what makes a place that you want to be, and that you want to love, and that your family is going to love being there and to grow there. And so how do we kind of switch that conversation and use the presentation and discussion of the space to lead toward greater conversations about that? So some other themes that I'm personally quite interested in this book that we're exploring is strengthening democratic institutions, increased economic prosperity, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, increasing physical activity, health outcomes, safer cities for women, LGBTQ, teens, and elderly. And as designers, the conversation we're having in San Diego right now is about community participation in design. And we've gone so far in development that we're writing policies to get greater community participation in design. And I think the goal for this book is to not follow that rabbit hole and actually to reimagine it in 2023, can we design spaces without people? Right now, the policy answer is yes, and I think all of us need to take a deep moment and look at ourselves and say, is that the right thing we want to do? So So a lot of this book is about robust development for capital projects, making sure things are funded, connected across borders, and a personal that project is mine, we can talk about later, is also advocating for more design knowledge and foundations in the city through something like the role of city chief design officer for the city of San Diego. So thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you are as intrigued by this book as I am. It will be available in November. Please be in touch. Looking forward to having you all see it.